Hi everyone. That's for about 40 years, in some way or the other, powered a whole bunch of entrepreneurs. I think we've been very, very proud of the journey that we've had. I joined the company about 15 years ago. I'm a mechanical engineer by training, no background in accounting, compliance, taxation, or programming, and somehow I've landed up here. In the last 40 years, I think the one or two things that I've really walked away with, I'll probably move there at some point whenever they hand me a mic, is if, have any of you all read this book by Peter Thiel called 0 to 1? Yeah, in that there's a very small line in one of the pages where he talks about our audience in an interesting manner. He calls the SME the dead zone. The enterprise, you make a whole bunch of money. Consumers, you make a whole bunch of money, but not too many companies have figured out how to make money at the SME. And it's a very, very complex problem. I want to talk a little bit about what makes it so complex, and then we'll talk about how we see the future for entrepreneurs and how AI can power not just this community, but the business community as well. So first, I want to start with some slightly lesser known facts about Tally. So Tally is known for being an accounting software. In the last 40 years, three things that really stand out. The first is that globally, we have the single largest multi-user base for a transactional system like ours. Could be accounting, inventory, compliance, banking, basically your ERP. No other company comes even remotely close to this value, and this is a tremendous amount of pride when I kind of share this. The second one is about connected services. Over the last few years, as you've seen in the last panel as well, the government is getting more connected, banks are getting more connected. And over the last few months, we've been offering a lot of connected services on the system as well. And here also, we are an extremely large player with nearly about 5 lakh people using some connected service or the other. And the last bit is also an interesting fact that while we have around about 30 lakh odd paid customers, I'm going to use that very carefully, it is the third largest base when it comes to this type of audience for this type of software. So despite Peter Thiel calling it the dead zone, there is some level of repeatability that we've been able to show over the last 40 years in building a business, in serving this community. So what goes into it? I think there are two parts. First, over the years and over my 15 years of experience at the company, principles really matter. Wherever we've strayed away from these principles in designing products, solutions, experiences, we've not seen any kind of adoption. For many of those who have been in practice for some time, no one will remember Tally for its service tax or excise, as an example, right? And I think that's a demonstration of how we had ourselves strayed away from this. Wherever we have kept true to these principles, the solutions have actually worked. When we talk about the multi-user numbers in the past, 6 lakh is at least 3 times or 4 times more than the closest person who comes second. That is because of how simple it is to use and keep using a multi-user system. The second part of the story beyond principles, though, is craft. And it takes a slightly artistic attitude to craft the right solutions for the audience that we are dealing with. So I spoke about a number about 3 million. That number, even if I take a single segment, let's take a footwear trader or a distributor or a chemicals manufacturer, maybe in Bombay or Pune. 2 people in the same segment, in the space that we deal with, will run their business very differently. And you all know that better than anybody else. The number of customers, suppliers, the type of relationship they've had, the assortment of the products they may deal with, the credit terms that they may deal with, the size of the companies that they work with, all demand a whole lot more than what a structured system may give. And so it takes a little bit of art to designing a system that can serve this audience really well. The 4 principles that we've stuck to over the last 40 years, and I'm not saying that we've done it 100% of the times, but we've done it as much as possible to be able to stand here today. The first one is speed. Faster systems are simply liked better than even slightly slower systems. Whenever Tally's speed has slowed down even a little bit, you all are the first people to complain. The second one is around simplicity. It's easy to say, but when you're dealing with subjects like taxation, you're dealing with subjects like accounting, audit, you need to build in a learnability in a way in the system. Someone must be able to say कि ये easy है, आसान है. The third one is reliability. Of course, the balance sheet must balance, the trial balance must balance, and it must work across this diverse environment in these mission critical modes. And lastly, again, in this audience that we serve, flexibility is absolutely critical. I want to take a minute before I proceed into the AI side on this point. When we think about software, most software is created to organize a business, and rightly so. It's to create the right processes in the system, to make sure that work happens as per a particular flow. Unfortunately, not just in India, in most owner-driven businesses, owners take decisions, and it need not be as per the flow. इसको आज पैसा देना है, it may not even be due. इसको आज इतना ही पैसा देना है, that amount may not be due. I want to buy a laptop, it may not go through an approval process. Oil prices may be going up, मुझे आज material खरीदना है. So these are not systems that that need to work as per their design, but they need to adapt as per the business flows and the business expectations. And I think these have really guided some of what has happened in the past, and that's why we are where we are today. Now, moving the subject a little bit onto the AI side. Of course, 40 years we've seen DOS, Windows, LAN, cloud, mobility, and now in the last few months, quarters, there's been a lot of talk around AI. But at Tally, in the early days itself, and Bhushanji had spoken in the previous session about convolutional neural networks or deep learning, machine learning. In the early days, they were just simple neural networks. Way back when, many of you all may have experienced Tally 4.5. A lot of credit of 4.5 goes to why we are where we are today. 4.5 had a simple calculator box where you could ask it questions, right? What is my sales for today? What is my receivables? What is my outstanding? You could ask it these simple English questions, and it would just spit out a quick answer. And remember, this was all before GPU, no memory, CPUs were low in construct. So these were simple things that we had experimented. This was about mid-90s, I'm talking. Fast forward a few years, you could now start doing this from your phone. You could send an SMS to a number, and Tally would send an answer back to you saying, what is my sales? What is my outstanding? How much profit have I made? So on and so forth. And now in the last few years, last few months rather, we've been spending some time on what could this AI-driven future look like post the advent of the transformer. There are four that I'd like to talk through, just to share the outline of a future of possibility. The first one is a custom ERP. A lot of time today goes into creating configurations, custom forms, custom fields, custom workflows. And a lot of large companies can really afford this. The moment you want to go down to the last mile, the smallest trader, we think that it is certainly plausible to imagine an ERP that is made for you and maybe even made by you. Can I write down and prompt an ERP into life? You know, I am a footwear distributor in Pune. I have been working for 20 years. I have 20 customers. I have 40 suppliers. These are my credit terms. Can you create my accounting system or my ERP for me, right? You can imagine something like this coming to life. The second one is an adaptive ERP. You can imagine now the ERP becoming more and more shaped towards your changes that you make. So from a footwear distributor, you've now started selling toys, you've started selling clothing. Can I now start evolving those processes into my system, again, through my natural language, through my prompts, without much help from someone else? You can imagine an appless ERP. Today you double click and Tally opens up, or you tap and Tally opens up, and that gives you your core experience. But can I imagine talking to it? Can I imagine, what was my sales? How much outstanding do I owe Rahul? What was my last invoice? Who are my suppliers that are not paying me, who I'm not paying? Who are my customers that are not profitable customers? You can ask some of those questions. And the last point is around the intelligent ERP. You can make these a lot more complex to a true business partner. Last year, my sales were down in July. What am I trending this time? And can you help and advise me on what I could do to improve it? These are cases that you can start building out, and I'm sure your imaginations will work at play to start thinking about those types of questions. Now, these are some things that we've been working on. But I also want to share what we've learned over the last few months. So about 9-10 months back, we've gone live with some customers. We've not taken it to everybody. And through this journey, we've learned a few things. The first is, what is the difference between POC and scale? And here I want to go back to the beginning of the conversation. Showing off some demo, very much possible. An exciting demo, very much possible. I think the question that we have to ask is, finally, the power of AI needs to reach those few million business owners. And can they use it in a trustable manner? In the last session, I think Sunilji had picked up this point very precisely, that this combination of maybe AI and human is probably where. But the deeper points that he was talking about is where the limitations still do exist. And I want to share our experience. And we've learned a few more principles that do need to be followed. The first, of course, is trust. I can ask it one question. If it doesn't give me the right answer, what do I do? No one can say, if I ask it, how much do I owe Rahul, or how much does Rahul owe me? It cannot say, it may be 9,34,364 rupees. It's either right or it's wrong. And if it's wrong and you don't figure out that it's wrong, it's a huge problem. So trust as a core principle of design in mission-critical systems like ours, mission-critical work that all of us here do, becomes a really big factor in using AI at scale. The second one is an experiential point at speed. The faster you build the system, the faster it works for you, the better you will find it. The third one is privacy. Here I want to take a small story, and I want to talk about my visit to Calcutta that I made about 3 or 4 months back. So this was about in the month of March. I'd gone, we had done some customer visits, and I'd met an auto parts trader. His age must be about 60, 70 years old. The business itself must be 60, 70 years old. So it's a typical old school business that provides auto parts for trucks and logistics companies. Before he even asked us to sit down and order the chai and the juice and the coffee, his question was, "Sir, आप लोग AI के बारे में क्या कर रहे हो?" And I was obviously thrown off, but honestly, in the 15 years, I think this is an experience that we've seen over and over again, that owners, entrepreneurs, everyone here in this room is extremely willing or extremely pro-technology, unlike what the reputation is of SMEs in the market. There is a caution, however, that they are deeply unforgiving as well. The product has to work. And one of the criteria through the conversation with this auto parts trader in Calcutta was, "Acha, AI to aa jayega, we were talking about it, but mera data kahan rahega?" And I think there's a mystery around where data is. Most business owners do think about data as their sort of secret sauce, their customer list as their secret sauce. And I don't think as manufacturers of products, manufacturers of solutions, we have got good enough experiences that can give you that trust of privacy, give you that trust of security, and give it to you at a cost that is affordable to you. So, in our experience in the last few months, today we still see the immense potential that AI does have, but we also see that there is still work to do in order to bring it out to the millions of people in order to really, really power their business. One area that I want to double click on a little bit is this idea of trust. I was sharing with Jigar, he's sitting here the last few minutes, and he's from the behemoth that is powering so much of AI, NVIDIA. I was sharing with him the experiences that we've had with some of the tools, right? You take that appless experience. We've been working on it. We've got internal pilots going on. We've also got a few customers starting to use it as well. If you use it for a few weeks, perfectly fine. Suddenly, if you start using it for a few months, the system starts to hallucinate. I'll give you simple examples. Maybe one of the questions and the trails that I had started off with was, what is the outstanding that Rahul has? It gave me a number, perfect. Next time I asked, how much money do I owe Rahul? Gave me a number, absolutely fine. What was the last invoice unpaid to Rahul? It gave me a number, okay, fine. Now suddenly the fourth and the fifth time, if I've started correcting the first three situations, assuming those numbers were not correct, suddenly now the system starts getting a bit confused. It doesn't know exactly in your system what these questions are meaning. So next time I ask it, what was Rahul's outstanding? It need not throw you the right number. And it will not even know that it is throwing you the wrong number, right? There is no per se intelligence behind it. So I think if I look at the place that we are at, there is tremendous amount of potential. There is no doubt. You can imagine a very different world. I don't know, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. I don't want to take that risk of prediction. But you can imagine the power of AI really making a difference to us. But having said that, I don't yet see that we are at a place where business, mission critical, diverse, reliability oriented use cases, like the ones that this room really cares about, can actually scale yet. There is work to do, and it is our job to get that out. So in last, I think, of course, everyone says this, the panelists have said this, Amish ji has said this, please do use AI, there is no question about it, but don't forget your brain in this process. Right, guys, thank you so much. It's been amazing. If you guys have any questions, do you have any time for questions? No questions, right? Or, I don't know.
We can maybe take at the end.
Perfect. All right.
Now I request Mr. Varinder Saini, Product Management Lead at Adobe, please to get on with this session. Thank you, sir.
हाँ इससे मैं पहले देख लेता चलो आप कर लो hello okay yeah it works thank you इससे नहीं हुआ तो फिर वहाँ जाके कैसे करूँगा anyways all right good afternoon everyone my name is Varinder and I'm honored to be here and first of all I want to express my sincere gratitude to the visionary leadership of ICAI for organizing this forward-thinking initiative and commitment to their profession. I've been in tech for more than two decades now, and I've been part of Adobe for last 17 years. I'm fortunate to have a ringside view of how technology has evolved over the years. And in this session, I want to share my learnings and insights on what a generative AI is, right? What are the pitfalls, and how can we use Gen AI to be more efficient and productive. Now, beyond technology, I love arts, music, paintings, movies, and I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan. So I have crafted my presentation based on the Tarantino style narrative, where you'll have different chapters with each chapter will have its own unique theme. So let's dive. All right. So the first chapter is about everything you can imagine is real, right? Picasso's word tell us that the boundary between imagination and reality lies in your imagination, right? The way you want to create things. And that's what generative AI is all about. So I want to start with a video. Sound. It's okay. That's fine. That's fine. प्ले कर दो. It's funny, in the day and age of AI, we can't get the projector to work, right? प्ले कर दे.
Generative AI, AIS AI 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 AI. It uses AI to bring AI 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 AI.
All right. So, when the CEO of the big tech company so joyfully stammering about AI, there must be something big, right? So, if I take a step back and look at the last 50 years, right, the tech progresses in 10, 15-year cycles, right? In 1980s, you had PCs that brought computation power to your desk, right? Then in 90s, internet connected all those PCs, and then with mobile, we are now in always-on era, and now today, we are in the era of Gen AI. We may think that, hey, we have seen all these platform shifts, and AI is just a foundational shift, but the public opinion is divided on it, that, hey, this could be radically different, and it could be at the level of a fire or wheel or electricity. Is it that kind of shift, right? And the reason is speed of impact. Now, all the previous tech shifts have happened gradually, right? It took years for consumers and enterprises to move gradually, right? They moved gradually. But in AI, enterprises and consumers are moving in the matter of months. Breadth of impact. Now, when mobile came, right, it first impacted consumer app. When cloud came, it impacted enterprise infrastructure first. When web came, it impacted commerce, media, right? But AI is simultaneously impacting all the from consumer to enterprises, from creativity to analytic tasks, from back end to front end, everything simultaneously. So the breadth of impact is huge. Newer capabilities, right? The models are evolving every day, and the skills that used to be relevant for years, now it's getting older, and you have to upskill really, really fast. So what is a generative AI? Right? At a very basic level, it takes content, whether it is text, image, video, as input and generates entirely new content as output, right? So you can think about this as input, transform, and output. At a surface, it might seem very straightforward, but if you take a pause and think about it, it's a very radically expansive idea, right? Because it aligns so fundamentally with the nature of knowledge work, right? If you think about this whole process of input, transform, output, you can start thinking about writing code for dashboard is like creating text, right? Financial advisory is creating text. Writing a marketing copy is creating text, right? So that is what generative AI is all about, right? Fundamentally, the architecture of how generative AI is built is so well aligned with the way knowledge work happens, it can radically change the way we users and we consume information and we interact with computers. Now, how do you communicate with these GenAI models, right? That is the part of, what we call prompting, right? It's like telling your assistant, like, hey, can you help me with this, right? Now, obviously, if you are telling your assistant, you have to give him or her the details, right? Like provide the context, right? So what makes a great prompt, right? Start with a task. What is your goal? Be very precise and specific what you want to do. For example, summarize this, draft this, right? Extract this information. Provide context, right? What is the scope and are there any constraints, right? I want to look at the shareholding changing pattern, right? Provide the scope. And lastly, provide the format and the tone. What format you want it, right? Like, for example, give me a 3-bullet summary for board meeting and in a formal tone, right? That's what a great prompt is, and that's how you communicate with GenAI models. Now, I've created this effective, how to create an effective prompt. I have a sample prompt on your screen, right? So summarize the company's annual return. This is the task, right? And highlight key company details, current and change shareholding patterns, name and changes. This whole is the context. I'm providing the context to the GenAI model so that it can create a right output for me. Format and tone. I want my findings in a concise, point-wise format. That's the part, format and tone, right? So this is how you create an effective prompt. It's like talking to your intern or your assistant or your colleague, right? You have to provide the task that you want to achieve. You have to provide the context, and then you want to provide in which format and what tone you want the output to be. Now, what has changed from traditional software to AI? Traditional softwares are deterministic, right? They are hard-coded. They are rule-based logic, right? They are predictable. Every time you give this input, like, hey, if x is equal to 10, give me, the output is always 20, right? Output is x into 2. That's how traditional software works. It's predictable, it's precise, it's deterministic. Whereas, on the other hand, generative AI is probabilistic, right? It's trained on the data-driven models that learn patterns, right? They understand data and they can also journalize based on that unseen scenarios, right? They can create answers based on the patterns that they have learned. And the outputs can vary. Every time you give an input, you can get a different output, even for the same input, right? So we are moving from deterministic to probabilistic software. Now, this probabilistic magic of GenAI it comes with a catch, right? It has its own pitfalls, and a lot of speakers have talked about it, so I'll briefly touch upon that. hallucinations, right? Giving you incorrect information, fabricating information very confidently so that you are not aware whether this is correct or not. Data privacy, right? The data models could be trained on sensitive information. It could expose proprietary information, confidential information, bias. It could be bias. There could be cultural, racial, demographic bias in the data that GenAI model was trained, right? For example, some gender may have a higher credit rating, right? Some caste may have a higher credit rating based on the data they were trained. So those are the pitfalls of the generative AI. Now, this is where the second chapter of the Tarantino movie starts, right? Now, we have talked about what a Gen AI is. Now, what is our plan, right? What is our plan to success? And this is where I want to talk about Acrobat, how we can help you to be more productive and efficient. Now, when we talk to companies, this is what we hear, as all the speakers have said, right? Security is the number one concern. Hallucination is the number one concern. That's the top concern. Accuracy, how do I know this information is correct or not, right? How do I know this information is, the model is not hallucinating? How do I know that? Second, the deployment complexity, time to value. How much time it will take to derive value out of the whole deployment process, right? Data pipeline and everything. Lastly, is it worth, right? What's the cost of the ROI is there or not, right? And that's what we are hearing from the companies. Now, we have an answer for that. We think we have built the assistant in Acrobat in the right way. We can provide high-quality insights. Adobe, as an inventor of PDF, we understand the structure of the PDF, and we provide best-in-class citations so that you can dive deeper into the responses and verify the accuracy of the response. And then you can write anything. You can summarize an email. You can create a blog post, whatever you want, a memo, meeting notes. And it's easy to deploy, right? You can deploy in minutes. You don't need to do anything, right? It's right there sitting in Acrobat, right? You're reading a PDF. You want a summary of it. You want insights. You can do it right there. And last but not the least, security, right? Your data remains yours, right? We are grounded in our AI models are grounded in the document that you provide, right? And we don't train our models on your data, right? So security-wise, we are best in class. Now, with that, I want to give you a quick demo about how you can use, in your day-to-day workflows, use Acrobat and GenAI to be more efficient and more productive. So, can you guys see my screen? Excuse me. I think our jobs are safe if this is where the technology is. All right, so I have this annual return of Paytm opened, right? And I'm in Acrobat, I'm reading this PDF, and this is the AI assistant right here. And I showed you the prompt before. Let me just copy that for this demo. right? So when you open AI Assistant, I've already used it. I was preparing the demo, but it gives you an overview of the document, provides you the summary, and then you can ask questions, right? For this case, I want to, let's say, I want to summarize the company's annual return and the prompt that we had before. I hope the demo gods are with me today. Doing live demo is always risky, but I wanted it to be interactive so that you can see how you can work with PDFs easily, right? All right, so we have a response. Acrobat AI Assistant has summarized this document, this return for me. And as you can see, it has also provided citations that I can verify within the PDF, right? So you can make sure that the information that you're getting from the response is accurate. That's how easy it is to use Acrobat AI Assistant. Now let's say if I want to draft an email summarizing these highlights and for my annual compliance briefing, right? Again, I can set the prompt with what the goal is, what's the context, and in what format I want the output to be, and it'll go ahead and create that email summary for me. All right. Again, as you see, Acrobat has created the summary for me, and again, it has all the citations that you can verify. Now, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to go to any third-party website, right? You were viewing a PDF. You were reading a PDF. You could use Acrobat AI Assistant right then and there. It's grounded in that document. It provides you citations so that you can verify whether the responses are accurate or not. And that's how we think, we deal with hallucinations, we deal with trust, we deal with privacy. Now, another feature that I want to talk about is we already have this on working on multiple documents, but we recently released a new feature that's in preview for some users, and I want to show you guys, and that's called Acrobat Projects, wherein you can have multiple files, start a project with that, and it will triangulate information across documents and help you work even more faster. So let's say I have all these shareholder, letters, related party transactions, and I want to create a project out of them. Right, so you select all the documents, you click on Create Project, you can add the files, right? For now, I have created a project, right? So once the project is created, you land on this Insights dashboard that provides you what this project is all about, right? For example, for this Paytm case, it is providing me, hey, make sure you ensure IPO fund compliance. It analyzed related party transactions. It highlighted board meeting attendance without me even asking a single question, right? I just added all my files for the project that I was working on. It connected the dots across the documents and provided me insights with citations. That's the power of Acrobat Projects. Now, you can obviously ask questions, and it will, if you look at the citations, right, it will open up the document from which it is picking up. You can ask the questions. Let me go ahead and ask one last question before I wrap up this presentation. So let's say I want to draft an advisory memo recommending actions around share utilization and RPT governance, right? By the way, if you notice, while it's writing the memo, I have created a custom agent for this, custom AI assistant for to act as a CA, right? You can create your own. We have some default. You can create your own, right? So here we have the advisory memo. Again, you select the files, you create a project, It proactively provides you insights without you asking any question, and then you can communicate with the agent, and you can communicate with your documents the way you could have never done before, right? That's how easy it is to use Acrobat AI Assistant within Acrobat. And obviously, you can do all of this on desktop, on mobile, on web. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. I think, again, we have to switch. Sorry. But thank you. Yeah, I think we're good. So that brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for being very patient with all the things that happened. And as a closing remark, I think for decades we are saying that accounting is both an art and a science. I think AI will help us handle those science part, those repetitive, mundane tasks that you don't like to do, and liberate us so that we can focus on what really matters, right? Creativity, providing insights, being more empathetic with our customers. That's how we marry the superpowers of AI with the art and science of accounting. So thank you, everyone.
The next speaker on the same topic is Mr. Jigar Halani, Director at Solutions Architect and Engineers at NVIDIA.
Sound, USB, yeah? Can I just run it once? Screen options. Yeah, that'll do. Just checking the sound. I'm okay either ways. Are we good? Do we know if the audio is working? No? I'm just checking the audio once. No. I'm good. Yes.
A new kind of factory.
We are good. Let's get started.
This is how intelligence is made. A new kind of factory. Generator of tokens. The building blocks of AI. Tokens have opened a new frontier, the first step into an extraordinary world, where endless possibilities are born. Tokens transform words into knowledge and breathe life into images. They turn ideas into videos and help us safely navigate any environment. Tokens teach robots to move like the masters. Inspire new ways to celebrate our victories.
A martini, please.
Only light up.
Thank you, Adam.
And give us peace of mind when we need it most.
Hi, Maroka. Hi, Anna. It's good to see you again.
Hi, Emma. We're gonna take your blood sample today, okay?
Don't worry. I'm gonna be here the whole time.
They bring meaning to numbers to help us better understand the world around us. Predict the dangers that surround us. And find cures for the threats within us. agents can bring our visions to life, and restore what we've lost.
Zachary, I got my voice back, buddy.
They help us move forward, one small step at a time. And one giant leap together. And here is where it all begins.
Okay. Good evening, all. All right, the intensity is low. You guys are saviors, man. You know us taxpayers, right? So I'm just, yeah, it's evening, so good evening all once again. Thank you. I'm a little bit in trouble, to be very honest, because when Tejas started, he started to explain all the theoretical aspect and how the applicability is working out. So I straight away deleted 15 slides. So I said he has covered all. Then Virendra came in, and I think he has done all the demos, and that's what all I had in my slides left. And I was like, should I be keeping my slides and go on the stage or not? But I still had the courage. I stood up, and I said, okay, let me at least show some more new demos so that you guys can get to learn how the applicability of AI and generative AI and agentic AI is taking place today. So good evening once again. I'm Jigar. Firstly, I'm really thankful to ICAI team and the way you guys have conducted. I can see the hall completely full. I met many of you, and fascinating to see that I was excited to meet you guys and maybe learn how am I going to save my money more. But I learned the reverse way. You guys are trying to learn from engineers. How are you going to make money and save more money for yourself? But it's good. It's a mutual thing that is taking place, and thereby I'm sure we are going to win together. So with that, let me not waste time, and let's get started. I only have few slides and 4 or 5 demos, in total 8. So hope to have some meaningful conversation and show you the path where things are trying to do. What I've tried doing it is, first to make sure that I demystify that it's not about just text. That's a normal notion, anybody, and thanks to, and all credit to ChatGPT, people have undergone that chat is all about what generative AI is all about. That's not the case, right? It's about audio, it's about text, it's about images, it's about videos, it's about satellite images. That's the next segment that the AI is trying to, it's already has actually solved it, right? And so on and so forth. So it's a lot to do with many other things of the format of data type that we have it, okay? So don't restrict your mind when it comes to generative AI or agentic AI. Hey, I put the text and a lot of things are going to happen. You know what? No. You can speak. And that's where India is known for differentiating its AI consumption than the rest of the world, right? We are more language oriented. We love to speak. We love to speak because of the other reason that the keyboard only has English words. Right? And when our father and mother were being asked to forcefully start to learn on computers, the only thing that they were able to do is use one finger. Because English plus the language barrier and the typing speed that they needed, right? But today's generation knows English but still wants to do in talking, because that's what our ancestors have tried doing it with us, with that phenomena essentially, right? So thereby, voice becomes very, very important, and thereby in your business, local languages and voice is going to be very, very important as well, right? Now, that said and done, let's understand 2 simple use cases on what generative AI has been able to do in an Indic languages plus the other format of data type as well that we have it, other than the text that you guys have kept seeing it time and again from morning, and I'm sure in your regular life, you must be using ChatGPT as well. So let's take 2 simple examples that we have prepped it with the help of our partners and understand the other consumption way of generative AI as well. So here we go.
In this demo, we are going to demonstrate the capabilities of vision language model. The first use case that we are going to demo is we upload an image where people are playing Garba, and I want to create an ad campaign using this image. So I'll be asking the vision language model to create an ad campaign using this image.
Make sense?
So you can see that the vision language model understand that this is an image of people playing Garba, and Garba is a traditional dance form from the state of Gujarat, where people wear traditional clothing from the state of Gujarat, and it creates a ad campaign surrounding this with a call to action and social media hashtags. The next case that we'll be demonstrating is where a business owner who can only converse in Gujarati wants to create a product description for an e-commerce website to expand his business outside India. So here we'll be asking the vision language model same thing to create a product description for a e-commerce website in Gujarati, and I would ask the vision language model to generate the text in English. So here you can see the vision language model understand that this is carved up pottery, and it creates a product description around this. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's one of the example. Let's learn one more example, and that should simplify how different data types are getting consumed today.
In this demo, we are going to demonstrate the Indic language understanding capabilities of vision language model. The first use case that we are going to demonstrate is, can this vision language model take a policy document as an input which is present in English? And can I ask this vision language model a question in Gujarati to convert this English text into Gujarati text?
Think of the possibilities of the customer types that you can now support, the smallest of the smallest, speaking in their local language, but your services are now available to them in the local language that they prefer to have it. And you could have generations of people in the same business, right? The grandpa, the father, and the son, all
The
three of
next
them
use case that we
understands
are going
different
to
languages.
demonstrate is, can this vision language model take a policy document which is present in Gujarati, and can I ask a question in English to explain this text which is present in Gujarati in English?
So reverse.
Thank you.
Okay, that's said and done. That was generative AI.
In this demo,
Now let's learn a little bit about reasoning models. And this is where you might be knowing the surge which has come up when DeepSeek came out. How many of you know about DeepSeek? Not bad. Excellent. You are equally engineers, man. Very good, right? Let's learn a little bit of difference and two demos, and I'll wind up my presentation after that, right? And I wanted to leave you with some thoughts on that as well. So basically, if you would have given a simple question to a ChatGPT, or let's say a year back, what's NVIDIA or who is NVIDIA, you straight away get the answer. Basically, text in, text out, based on the historical data with some summary and stuff that you can represent it. The moment you have reasoning model, they start to think, put logic, and then they start to give you answer, right? In a simplistic example that I've tried taking it, which is actually complicated, that I, my wife, my kid, my sister, my parents, and my in-laws all want to go for a dinner. And I want to book a dinner table. But I want to ask ChatGPT that I want to have a sitting arrangement in a fashion that my wife doesn't sit next to my mom, my mother-in-law doesn't sit next to my mom, and I want to make sure that my wife is sitting next to my son so that she can feed, but it should be followed by my dad and not my mother, because then the kid should not get confused that who should I go to for eating, right? So, yeah. So if I give this question to a standard ChatGPT a year back without a reasoning model, it will straight away give you answer, I don't know, or it will tell you that you need to have 2 tables, right? But with the moment you have reasoning models, which can now start to think, it can give you an answer that there is a way you can make this work. And I'll be feeling like, wow, amazing, I can go for a dinner now, right? And I can still satisfy everybody essentially. And it will tell me a context in which, in the order of stuff, how can I make them sit? It's well written over there. And next to my son, my wife, followed by me, followed by my mother-in-law, followed by my father-in-law, then sister, and then my mother, then my father, and in the rotation, my son comes back essentially, right? So it simplifies the life. That's the context that we are talking about it. Technically speaking, if you want to learn this, in a minute, if I have to show you a video, how it works at the back. And this is important, because when you talk about your taxation and other structure, and I've started to see already some of the large CA firms in the country starting to build their own foundation model based on their historical last 20, 30 years of relationship with their customers, in consensus with the customers, that they can use this data to train the model to help the customer at the, back to them. And with that, they build the stickiness, because now the model is owned by the CA firm, the data is owned by the customer, but they both need to be in the relationship forever, because this is a joint solution that they have built it. And once they learn the art of this, these small models, what they want to replicate it with different customers and have them run separately for each of these customers. So when you will build these kind of solutions, you'll be looking for these reasoning models to come in life and help you. So let's understand in a minute or two what these reasoning models are and how does they work at the back.
AI agents are digital assistants. Based on a prompt, they reason through and break down problems into multi-step plans. They use the proper tools, work with other agents, and use context from memory to properly execute the job on NVIDIA accelerated systems. It starts with a simple prompt. Let's ask Perplexity to help start a food truck in Paris. First, the Perplexity agent reasons through the prompt and forms a plan. Then, calls other agents to help tackle each step using many tools. The market researcher reads reviews and reports to uncover trends and analyze the competitive market. Based on this research, a concept designer explores local ingredients and proposes a menu complete with prep time estimates, and researches palettes and generates a brand identity. Then, the financial planner uses Monte Carlo simulations to forecast profitability and growth trajectory. An operations planner builds a launch timeline with every detail, from buying equipment to acquiring the right permits. The marketing specialist builds a launch plan with a social media campaign and even codes an interactive website, including a map, menu, and online ordering. Each agent's work comes together in a final packaged proposal, and it all started from a single prompt.
Yeah? So this goes at the back. Now let's understand in your domain, how do we apply these reasoning models, right? Which are open sourcely available, that you could go and start to consume it by yourself. 2 examples, and then I'll pause myself there, right? So let's go through this one.
Hey everyone, today I'll walk you through 2 demos which utilize generative AI in a very day-to-day workflow of yours. And the first one being a PDF analyzer, which you can use for all sorts of company reports, statements, notices, etc. And here we jump into the first one. The PDF analyzer I'm going to show you pretty much works with any PDF format. So it could be scans of images, it could be just plain PDF text, or with charts and tables all around it. And what I'm going to show you is Tesla's quarterly statements across 2 years. And let's have the tool come up with its own analysis on the same. So here I'm uploading it, and we'll just wait for the results right away. And yeah, so now that you see the results from this, with such a tool, you can have reasoning incorporated as part of your workflow at scale and gain insights which would have otherwise taken a whole lot more hours for a person to come about with. And just imagine how much more tuned to your business such a tool can be if it is trained on your organization's data to improve further down the line.
Yeah, so something similar to what Virendra was trying to show as well, right? And I've made sure that I don't take any Indian companies' details because Q1 results are all happening nowadays. It is from Tesla, and how by just uploading their results, what analysis we are able to understand, right? One last example, and then we should wind up.
Going back to the second demo, this is a tabular data explorer and automated report generator as well. So what I'm going to show you is a tax computation sheet for a firm, and we'll see what sorts of exploratory analysis and reporting can be generated out of it automatically. And unlike existing macros and operations that you can do on an Excel sheet, now you can have a tool which does the actual reporting and the analysis on that structured data and make you prepared for the same. Like it's giving you talking points, it's giving you key insights, and you'll be able to share this quicker with lower turnaround time and lesser efforts required for the same. So thank you.
So it could create the document, it could create the PPT out of just the Excel sheet that you have provided with all the description, detailings, what to speak, what it has been able to analyze out of it, and how it is impacting with what you are looking for it essentially, right? And you can change the prompt, ask more question, it will change the slides accordingly. So these are some of the simple use cases I could think of it. I'm sure I'll sit with you guys to understand more someday, where if you can tell us more complex way of making things work, which will also tell me how to save my tax someday, then these details can be fed into a system to train the model or fine-tune the model and thereby get the desired outputs that you're looking for it. So with that, I would like to pause.
Going back to the second demo.
And thanks for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So may I please request Mr. Tejas Goenka, Mr. Varinder Saini, and Jigar Halani, please onto the stage. And I would request CA Jiten Sanglani, Vikasa Chair of WIRC, for vote of thanks, and for felicitation, Mangesh sir.
So friends, are you thrilled or are you threatened? Thrilled? I think AIS is something which is thrilling us. At the same time, when we were sitting there, we were discussing that what we would be doing if AI is doing everything. So there is a bit of threat as well. But thank you, all the three speakers. It was mind-boggling. We should clap for them, applaud for them much, much higher. Thanks to Tejas ji, Varinder ji, and Jigar ji. It was, sir, amazing presentation. ऐसा हमने chartered accountancy में नहीं देखा है. So this is something different, and the time that you have taken, I think we were loving to see that more and more, but the time was a constraint. So thank you so much, and thanks for the entire team of AI and ICAI for organizing this summit. I'll request Mangesh to please do the honors.
We would also like to acknowledge and felicitate CS Aili Kothari for being Masters of Ceremonies for the past few sessions. So I request Pune Branch Treasurer CA Neha Fadke to please felicitate CS Aili Kothari. So we also have a group activity planned for this session, which is a survey. I mean, I think I would request all the participants to please join the survey. You can see the code as, I'll also spell it out, 642192223. The website is menti.com and the code is 642192223. So we are looking at the results, and I mean, a lot of you are participating, and we also want to understand how much are we using the GenAI for dashboard. So requesting you all to please participate. So another question is, how is GenAI helping us to draft compliance reports, and what is potential risk? Oh, quite majority was failures, it's hallucination or factual inaccuracy. A better response from all of you and participation from all of you will help us in a detailed survey reports. Please. A very interesting question. How can Gen AI feature help convert compliance data into board level insights?
Wow, I think all the answers were correct. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. And one last remark before we leave. I think this fear of will AI replace jobs? I don't think, right? It's here to augment human creativity and judgment. So let's embrace AI and make accounting great again.
So, once again, thanking all the esteemed speakers for this session.